Excuse me.
Okay, we are going to call to order the Troy Local Development Corporation Board of Directors meeting. It is February 20th, running late because of me, 9:15 a.m., and we will start with our approval of the minutes from the January 16th meeting. Do we have any questions or comments from the board with any of the minute markups, or is it anything? Do you have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it should be amended because, under number 4, financials, because I did ask at, the meeting about the December financials, why the, entries weren't made for the purchase of, Proctor's and the issuance of the bond proceeds. I can't remember what Justin said. I think you had said something about, these are not audited statements, but entries should have still been made.
Danae, can you go back through the meeting recording and amend that, and we can
add it in? Did not put it in at all, or was it not correct in there?
It's not correct.
It's not in there.
Not in there.
It's not in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I probably was generalizing for. Yes, I will go back into the recording and edit it.
Okay, then we will push these to the next meeting when we get that back in there. Cool. Thanks, John. Okay, and into Executive Director's Report.
Okay, good morning, everybody. This won't really be too long. Nothing really has changed since the last meeting. Geothermal, just to go back to that, still, it's that public comment period. Danae, is the link to the PSC, I'm sorry, did we put that on is that on the website or no, do we?
I just got it from Sarah,
Okay.
yesterday, so I'm gonna make some kind of a post and share that.
Okay, cool.
So that people have I couldn't find it on their website. Their website was a lot of technical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm copied on an email, but I didn't see anything on their site either.
Okay.
So we were gonna get it,
No.
we were gonna put it on the website just to try to offer people an opportunity to speak on the project during the public comment period. National Grid, has been doing some reaching out to a lot of the local stakeholders. I believe the council, at least the council president, Assemblyman McDonald, Senator Ashby.
Oh, right. Okay.
Also, I believe a lot of the off-takers on it are submitting comments too. So, the more positive comments that get submitted for the project, the better while that period's open. I believe it's open until March 9th. I was going to say 19th.
Yep.
Close. All right, March 9th. So I just wanted to point that out there. King Fuels is also still, status quo with the previous update. One of the biggest, one of the things we talked about at the last meeting was a small business grant. The board agreed to tweak the program to make it that $5,000 and $10,000. That is, the applications have gone live since this morning. So please, if you know folks, reach out, let them know if they're looking for it. It's on the LDC website. It'll be open for the next month. The plan will be to, once we get all those applications, there is a little bit of vetting, making sure they're in good standing with the city. We don't owe taxes, things like that. Danae will help with that, and then we'll kind of comb through them and come to the board with suggestions to ultimately vote on who gets awarded. The idea would be we would do that in our April meeting. This way it allows, a 6-month time period for folks to utilize and spend that money, because we want to make sure that any of those funds are spent by October, because on the ARPA end, if we run into an issue where they're not spent, we don't want that money to go back to the Treasury, so we have to identify that by October. Because then on the city end, the goal will be to, you're on the steering committee now, I believe, for ARPA.
We're going to switch, I believe.
Are you?
John.
Oh, okay.
John is
Well,
gonna,
you'd ultimately have a vote on the council anyways for it, so the idea is once we get closer to the end of the year, and hopefully there's nothing left, but I do envision there could even, I keep saying, even if there's $3,000 left, we don't want it to go back,
Right,
so we
right, right.
put it into for park or whatever the steering committee and, the administration and the council decide, because the ARPA rules allow for you to switch at this period within active projects. So the thought would be, put it right into one of those city projects that, you know, the money would be spent pretty much instantaneously as soon as it's switched over, so that way it doesn't go back by the end of the year. So that's the thought with that, but that's very exciting, because like, just to reiterate from the past meeting, and Danae, thank you again, amongst many things you do, appreciate this one. It's really been like your baby, and in more ways than one, but, you know, we just found that a lot of people were asking for a lower need, you know, the $50,000 that before wasn't, you know, folks were kind of struggling to come up with that, so the 5 or 10 still makes a nice impact, and, you know, this way we can spread it around a little bit more. And I can actually wait to go into new business outside of my,
Yeah,
there's this land purchase, which we kind of have to, I guess,
talk about, yeah.
things kind of changed a little bit too, and then there was also for new business adding on, the agreements as well. We already, made the budget amendments previously, but there are our 1-year agreements for myself, Danae, and Andrew Kreshnick
Yeah.
that expire, so we were gonna do a resolution, approving those as well.
In light of, recent, news events around Proctor's, I think the board should step into executive session on that to discuss anything that's sensitive on it, but is there anything outside of that regarding the Proctor's project that there's an update on, before I put a motion forward to do that?
Yeah, no, that update's still the same, still moving forward, just
Stay on
as
schedule?
last reported, yep.
Yeah, do they have a Gantt chart?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so we're,
So we're,
yeah.
so it's true data that we can
Mhm.
follow, good.
Yeah, for sure, and they're actually just on my way here, I mean, there's a lot of activity going on over there today, so, there has been so far, so, and we're gearing up, we're kinda in that, FF&E phase of it, you know, some of the finishes and things like that, going over those things, so, and, just to remind everybody too, we do have, there's a working group that, meets biweekly at Proctor's with the construction team. It's myself, city engineer Chris Marini, Dave Pacheco from H2M, who the LDC engaged to, you know, check submittals and things like that. So, and then of course Carlo from our code department, Jared Behringer, our deputy fire chief, who's also my state certified code official as well, so he gets involved in a lot of the fire stuff when it comes to planning and different things like that. Omaid from our IT department, our BIS director as well. So we meet biweekly with the BBL and Columbia team just to get those updates.
And are they on schedule?
Yes, yeah.
So they're pretty sure it's gonna be complete by the end of the year, or?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
very confident, just to, so the way that the agreement dictates, they really need to be substantially complete by October. Because, you know, we wanted to make sure, this is obviously a unique project compared to some others where, and this is a big thing that I stressed throughout the negotiations and going back and forth, that, you know, if anybody is, if you're, you know, if Andy Ross is building a brand new complex somewhere, and yeah, he wants it done by a certain time, but he still has a complex he can operate in, it's fine, you know, not that, we're not in that boat. I mean, different things start to trigger if we're still here. Also, just like, you know, we're considering the move and the setup, you know, that could, if all of a sudden we say, hey, that's not November anymore, it might be December, well, you know, they're gonna push us out. So there's a lot of things to make sure, so we really wanna see it substantially complete by October, so if, you know, there is some type of delay, we can kind of pivot into those other plans that we have, just in case. But no, everything is, different things have been ordered. There's no delays on some of those stuff. Everything is,
And
moving
how are
pretty
they coming
smoothly.
along with the box within a box?
It's, I
Where
know.
are they at? on
Yeah,
that
so they,
project?
the foundation of that is started to be laid, so there is, you know, the foam, which is the initial part that the concrete is getting poured over, so a lot of that process has started. The foam, I was actually in there, the last time we were in there for a meeting, the foam and everything was getting all set up, which was actually really cool, because going now at this point, for myself, being in and out of that building probably 100 times, and we've done everything from lasers to, you know, to try to, like, get your mind on what is it gonna look like, you know, and now to see where they've started to do frame, you know, a small portion of the interior of the theater, you can be like, oh, that's gonna be the, you know, the, one of the walls to the hallway walking down, and starting to visualize where the windows will go that will display the, you know, old balconies and things like that, so starting to get a feel for it too. But I would definitely suggest that we should set up a field trip for the board to go, and it would be interesting to see kind of the progress of it moving along. I think that'd be
I'd like to
helpful
see
for all
that.
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're struggling with MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Some of this stuff that is not cookie cutter
Mhm.
is pretty long lead times. So just
Yeah.
make sure you have your, and glass too.
Yeah.
Glass windows, we got glass windows going into 75, 102nd, and they've been on order since August.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
the foam
What's
thing's
the
interesting.
delay?
special labor, no one's got good labor anymore.
Yeah.
But perfectly blown. I had 8 people call in this morning.
Not surprised.
That's why we bring everything in from Europe, just because there's not very reliable here.
Right.
Um,
That's the truth.
The
Interesting.
foam thing's interesting. I wonder if Shelter Enterprises supplied that. They do all, like, the Incos, they do all geofoam and things like that. But it's pretty cool, because they did, like, Millennium Park in Chicago, and they can, like, literally, like, shape, like you said, they do a laser scan, and they'll get the stuff so it just fits in like Lego.
It was, that is,
Cool.
it literally
Yeah.
looked like a dull, oversized leg.
Yeah.
It was just, as I kept throughout the
really
process
quick too, 'cause
talking
you're like,
about it,
you're just
yeah.
walking foam in.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and that's the other thing, is then you're kinda like, it looks so like, oh, this is so fit and sturdy, but then you could be like, I think I could pick this up. You
Yeah.
know, like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's so, they're explaining the
Interesting.
process of it. And again, just to reiterate too, that, you know, the use of the foam, that's another example of we're using certain construction materials so that if, you know, like we've continued to say, if down the road it ever, you know, someone has the $100 million and wants to turn it back into a theater, that's why that material's being used.
You're not filling in a
That could
bath,
happen.
you're not filling in a pool with concrete.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the old, yeah, that's what they would have done years ago. Okay. I think just because of there is an open, I don't know if the technical term would be suit, but there's an grievance, and as the board, we should discuss that with our council. So for that, I'm gonna put a motion forward that we go into executive session. So I'm gonna motion that, and do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Yeah, Justin, what,
Sure.
they're just coming down on people, but executive session, I'm not sure which categories it's falls into. Is it like litigation?
This will be litigation.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
definitely, okay.
Yeah, advice
Yeah,
of
we-
counsel.
Advice of yeah, that's, right.
Served, the
Can I,
lawsuit?
I just was thinking, I didn't want you to say, I don't know how it's on here.
So who owns the property across from Proctor?
Well, and just
The
for
storefronts go on.
history for you, like,
Yeah.
we've had to go into this, like, a couple times for, like, advice of counsel things. It is